It's Thursday, it's sunny and hot, but we have a show for you this exciting day. On the pulse with me, Elton Brobe. Now, this afternoon, Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah justified his decision to lodge a complaint to the police against the management of ECG for breach of agreement in the payment schedule with the Kumasi Technical University.
What I want to tell you that I asked the police to invite engineer Mark Asmani on security grounds because of the happenings in the electricity power sector in the region.
We will hear from the workers of the ECG in the Ashanti region who have abandoned their revenue mobilization exercise for fear of their lives.
Our people are there. They are disconnecting. They are collecting revenue. So if the minister can call of a general manager for a region, then the staff are not safe.
And of course, also in the bulletin, the 4th estate demands publication of the full KPMG audit report into the GRA SML contract after President Akufo-Addo ordered GRA to proceed with the downstream petroleum sector monitoring contract with SML.
I would be very measured in perhaps attacking KPMG until I see the KPMG report. Because I did a JIDA investigation, the president issued some directives on the JIDA report.
Of course, later in the bulletin, we will dive into the possible impact of artificial intelligence in the upcoming American election at 4:20 p.m. when HS Sikanku comes your way with America Decides. My name is Elton Brobe. It's a pleasure to always be with you here on The Pulse, on joining from our studios here in Accra and around the world. You're welcome. We shall be back to deal with the best matters. And as always, a pleasure to have you here on The Pulse, here on Joy News. You can join the conversation with your comments, questions, whatever you have to say via our social media handles on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on myjoyonline.com. Now let's start with the impasse between the Ashanti Regional Chapter of the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah. Workers of the ECG in the Ashanti region say they have been forced to abandon the revenue mobilization exercise for fear of their lives. They say the conduct of the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah, who ordered the arrest of the General Manager for the Ashanti East for disconnecting power at Kumasi Technical University, could embolden members of the public to attack the staff. There's more in this report by Ohemin Teria.
The workers are in red as they hoist red flags in protest of the arrest of the Ashanti East General Manager for failing to heed calls to reconnect power to Kumasi Technical University. The workers say they have been infuriated by the conduct of the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, who also doubles as chairman of the Regional Security Council, RESEC. They have been demanding an unqualified apology from the Regional Minister and also withdrawing the police case. Chairman of the Senior Staff Association of ECG Ashanti West, John Mensah, says the workers are afraid of their lives as a result of the conduct of the Ashanti Regional Minister.
We are still going on the revenue mobilization exercise. Our people are there. They are disconnecting. They are collecting revenue. So if the minister can call the arrest of a general manager for a region, then the staff are not safe. The staff who are doing the revenue mobilization in order to get money to fuel the plant and then to take us out of the energy crisis. And you, the minister, you are still pushing, you are encouraging that they shouldn't pay their bill. Then I think that one is unfortunate. So that is why we are saying that you should withdraw the case from the police station so that the staff have the confidence to visit the houses or the premises and collect the revenue. It's a form of threat. It's a form of threat to our members.
On Monday, the National Executive Council of the ECG Workers Union barred all 4 regional managers of the company in the Ashanti region, who are automatic members of the Ashanti Regional Security Council, from attending meetings called by the regional minister. Vice Chairman of the Senior Staff Association, Bismarck Adoma, tells Joy News The workers have been infuriated by the regional minister, who has been defending his action on radio.
You only heard me on radio defending what he did. It makes us uncomfortable. Somebody doing his genuine work and causing his arrest, and you are on radio defending it. So it makes us very, very uncomfortable.
Meanwhile, the workers warned their next line of action could be dire if the regional minister fails to apologize or withdraw the case against the general manager. Yusuf Osmanu Abdullahi is the chairman of the Senior Workers Union, Ashanti East.
We are not deterred. Even if his house is owing, it should be prepared. We are coming on him.
Disconnect him.
Yes. If you are owing, you are a customer, you need to pay. That's all. If he's not owing, we don't have problem with him. But if he's owing, we are coming on him. So we should be prepared. I told you, this is the first step. And we have a series of, and if we get to the bridge, we will cross it. The vulnerable is owing and we are disconnecting. How much more the regional minister? It's better for him, or someone should tell him to go and withdraw the case and apologize to the entire ECG fraternity. The workers' front are not happy with his actions.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohiminteria reporting.
But the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah has been justifying his decision to lodge a complaint to the police against management of the ECG for breach of agreement in the payment schedule with the Kumasi Technical University. According to him, though, his office, the company, reached an agreement with the university to defray their debt within an agreed time frame. The university kept to the agreed schedule. The ECG disconnected the university, claiming the action was taken by a national task force. He's been addressing a news conference this morning in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi.
What I want to tell you that I asked the police to invite engineer Mark Asumani Wiafi on security grounds because of the happenings in the electricity power sector in the region. And the fact that a task force can always come from outside to disconnect without the proper information. What is ironical is that they tell me they are not under me, and for that matter, I cannot tell them what to do, but they want to tell me how I have to execute my security responsibilities as enshrined in the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act of 2020, Act 1030. They want to tell me. But they say I cannot tell them what to do. And I want to also tell them what they stated in their publication, I think on the 18th of April 2024, that their managers are members of the Regional Security Council, is palpable false. They are not members of the Regional Security Council. The Regional Security Council invited them to come and brief us on the adequacy or otherwise of security measures put in place at the various strategic installations of the electricity company of Ghana in the Ashanti region. And they are not members. And we do to every institution where we find security risk. You can find out from all the vice chancellors, both private and public universities. We meet them every quarter to discuss the security issues.
So that's the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah. Let me bring in the chairman of the ECG Workers Union in the Ashanti region, Bismarck Aduma, who joins us via Zoom. Mr. Aduma, it's a pleasure to have you here on the pulse. I trust you are doing good this afternoon. And if you can kindly unmute for me, Mr. Aduma. Right, so I'm trying to establish connection with Mr. Aduma, who is the Workers Union Chair for the ECG in the Ashanti region, Mr. Bismarck Aduma. Mr. Aduma, is it possible to hear me now? And if you can unmute for me, then we can hear you better. Right, he can't hear me. We'll fix the defect and then bring him on so that he can tell us his reaction to the decision taken by the Ashanti Regional Minister that he would not apologize, he was only doing his work because ECG had breached an agreement they had with the Kumasi Technical University, and we'll bring Mr. Aduma on to tell us their next line of action. But a countdown to end the erratic power supply in the country, but the question remains when. Board chair of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Herbert Krapa, says the ongoing power crisis will come to an end in the next few days. Mr. Krapa, who doubles as a deputy energy minister, was speaking at the commissioning of the Volta River Authority 15 megawatt power plant at Kalio in the Upper West region. Correspondent Rafik Salam has more.
Akufo-Addo noted that the commissioning of the 15 megawatt solar power project at Kalio is not just about providing electricity, but represented a fundamental shift towards sustainable development. He averred that renewable energy sources such as solar power does not only reduce the country's reliance on fossil fuel, but also help reduce the effect on climate change as well.
By investing in renewable energy infrastructure, we're securing a reliable source of electricity and creating new opportunities for economic growth and job creation. This plant will not only power homes and businesses, but also serve as a catalyst for development in the Upper West region, attracting investment and spurring innovation. To this end, government is implementing a series of policies and measures to incentivize green investments, foster a culture of energy efficiency, and prioritize the development of solar, wind, and hydroelectric power projects as key strategies for the growth of the energy sector in the country. Vision, however, is not only to be energy self-sufficient, but also to set the stage for Ghana to emerge as an eco-friendly country in the region, inspiring neighboring countries to follow suit in their pursuit of a greener, more energy technology-centered future.
President Akufo-Addo spoke of the benefits that the people in the region and the country at large will derive from the commissioning of the solar power plant.
From this plant, adding 15 megawatts of power to the national electricity grid will also improve the quality of power supply in the Upper West region, reduce national carbon emissions by displacing energy that gas-fired thermal plants would otherwise have generated. I'm told that is estimated at 8,117 tons. It will also promote practical studies in the development of solar power by the technical universities in the northern part of the country. As I indicated 2 years ago, government is continuously investing in the electricity transmission network to enable the country to evacuate more reliable renewable energy through the national grid to support the extension of electricity to all parts of the country.
Deputy Minister for Energy, Herbert Krapa, assured Ghanaians of the plans put in place by President Akufo-Addo to ensuring that the power outages in the country are a thing of the past.
His Excellency the President has led all of us in the power sector to ensure that we are putting arrangements in place to procure additional fuel to run all our thermal plants and power producing plants at full capacity. And His Excellency the President has also led realignment of operational and technical arrangements in the entire power sector value chain, which is the reason I'm able to assure the people of Ghana that in the next few days, the power challenges that we are seeing under the leadership of His Excellency the President, it will be a thing of the past.
The project was funded by the German Development Bank, KfW, at 60 million euros with counterpart funding from the Volta River Authority, VRA, pegged at 8.2 million euros. Kofi Tutu Ajare is the board chair of Volta River Authority.
Aside from confirming our commitment to ensure the provision of clean and reliable and sustainable power, the completion of this plant today has enormous benefits to the Kaleo community and by extension the northern parts of the country. I think it is true to say that with this plant up and running, this community will be the first community in Ghana, including the Wa area, to run solely on solar power on good days.
There were representatives from the Spanish, German embassies and the European Union at the function. Ashanti Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu disclosed that the project is of enormous importance to the people, starting from the construction stage, which has employed several people in the region.
During its construction phase, the project provided employment opportunities for several individuals, with 95% hailing from nearby communities. Additionally, the project's corporate social responsibility initiatives, including the rehabilitation of the Kaleo DA Primary School, improvement of road infrastructure, and the potential for tourism development, exemplify our commitment to holistic development and community empowerment.
The Kaleo solar power plant will increase Ghana and Viera capacity to 50 megawatts. It will also diversify the energy portfolio by adding more renewable energy to its fold. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Kaleo.
Right, so this is the pulse, and we are still on matters of electricity and the development that is, fueling or that is continuing to grow between the Ashanti Regional Minister and staff of the ECG in the Ashanti region, Kumasi to be precise. Now, you heard the Ashanti Regional Minister justifying the decision to push one of the managers of ECG in Ashanti region to, write a statement at the police station. Now, the workers took a certain decision. The minister had a news conference today. He didn't apologize. He didn't withdraw the police case. And so all these matters are still pending. Bismarck Adoma, again, is chairman of the ECG Workers Union in Ashanti region, and he joins me via Zoom. Mr. Adoma, I guess I can hear you loud and clear. Good afternoon. If you can unmute for me so we can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, perfect. So, Mr. Adama, you demanded two key issues, two demands from the Ashanti Regional Minister. Apologize for your attitude and withdraw the police case. You didn't get any of it in his news conference today. Disappointed?
Very, very disappointed. But I want to make clarification. I'm the Vice Chairman, Senior Staff Union, National.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the clarification. So, you are
very,
disappointed.
very disappointed.
Mm-hmm. The man says he was simply doing his work. Why should you be disappointed?
What work is he doing? The work is somebody doing his work, cause the person arrest, you are doing your work. What work was he doing?
At the news conference, he makes reference to the fact that he asked your manager to go and write a statement at the police station. And you say this constitutes arrest?
He didn't. He called me in the night after 10 that he should go and connect the place. And he said that he is not the one who disconnected. The team who disconnected came from Accra. So if anything, he should contact our head office. And he said, no, he won't do that. And after he hung the phone, the police officer called him, asking him where his house is in the midnight. And he said, no, at that night, I can't show you where my house is. Then he asked him to report at Zongo police station in the night. The following morning, when he went there, he was asked to write his statement, and he was told that he's under arrest, so he should pay himself. What fault has he done?
Was he told the reason why he was under arrest?
For disconnecting Kumasi Technical University, which is not the one who even ordered them to go and disconnect.
So, Mr. Adama, was he arrested and granted bail at the police station?
Yeah, at the police station was arrested and granted bail.
Right. Now, let's take the matter one after the other. The regional minister said that you had an agreement with the Kumasi Technical University, an agreement that was witnessed by some staff of the ECG and, of course, the university. And per the agreement, Kumasi Technical University was supposed to honor its debt obligation to the ECG within a certain time frame. At the time your officers went to disconnect the university, they were still in the process of meeting the demands of that agreement. And for him, that constitutes a breach of what you had earlier entered into with the university. How do you respond to this?
One, the agreement he was talking about, he had it with the Kumasi team, the team who came to disconnect from Accra. And secondly, they did not fulfill part of their agreement. So immediately you did not fulfill it, we can go ahead and disconnect. That's what the team did.
He said at the time the disconnection took place, the time had not elapsed. And so they were still within the agreed time frame for them to settle part of the bill, which, they needed some clearance from the finance ministry.
So why, when we disconnected them Thursday, Friday afternoon, they came and pay half of the amount? If what it's saying is fact, why did they come and pay half of the amount the following day?
But is it also the case that you work in the Ashanti region, you have a task force that operates nationally? When they come to the region, they don't consult, they don't seek clearance, they just go ahead and do their work?
I said that the agreement we have with them at that particular time, the people didn't fulfill their part of the agreement.
No, I'm also making reference to an earlier submission you made that the disconnection exercise was undertaken by a national task force. And I'm saying that when they do such exercise in your jurisdiction, they don't talk to you. Perhaps you could update them on steps that you had taken earlier regarding some of the installations.
I said that even per the agreement, the people did not fulfill the agreement. So that doesn't even come in.
So as you speak, is the university still in darkness, or you have restored power to the university? Mr. Adama, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, I was asking whether the university
I was not hearing you.
Yes, I was asking whether the university is in darkness or you have restored power.
Oh, we disconnected them on Thursday. Friday afternoon, they came and paid half of the amount and we connected them.
Okay, right. Few other issues also came up. The regional minister was emphatic that even though he's directed the ECG in the Ashanti region to observe certain security zones in Kumasi, one of them includes where the president and the vice president lodge whenever they are on official visits in the Ashanti region. But he says that you flout some of these directives and sometimes you put the light off when the president is in town.
I want the regional minister to come and tell us the day he told us that the president and the vice president was in town. He should give us a date and the time, and when he informed us and we put the place off, he can come with that fact, then we can interrogate it. He should give us a day. He told us that the president, well, we don't stay with president in Kumasi. So if president is coming to Kumasi, he should tell the president is coming here today. This is where he will be. He should give us a day and a time, and when we put the place off, and we can interrogate it. He just say it without backing into any fact.
So you are denying this outright, that such thing never happened?
Until he give us the day he told us that the minister, when the president was coming to Kumasi and we put the place off, I won't take it as anything serious.
But are you aware of security zones that you are not expected to put off power?
We've not put any place off when we are not supposed to put it off. We've not done it in any of our work. That's why I want him to give us a certain date with the time, with the president was here, we put the place off.
The impression being created could amount to sabotage, if you like. Is this something that you accept?
We don't accept it. That's why I'm saying that what he say, until he gives us a date and a time for us to interrogate it, I don't know where he's coming from.
There's another matter of the amount of megawatts required in the Ashanti region. He says from their own checks, the region operates within 200 megawatts. Most time it's 80 megawatts. The 120 go somewhere else, making it look like ECG is not up to its responsibilities in ensuring reliable power supply in the Ashanti region.
The regional minister, Greco office is here. He knows that Greco who gave us the power. So if Greco is not giving us the power, where are we going to get the power and supply it to the customers? He knows it. Anytime our general managers go there, they go with Greco people. He knows everything I'm talking about. So if Greco have a shortage, he come and blame ECG.
So that is an admission that you don't have enough power to supply the region.
What I'm saying, if what the minister is saying is true, did he come and blame ECG? Supposing what the minister was saying was true, did he come and blame ECG?
So, Mr. Brown, what is the general electricity situation in the Ashanti region? There appears to be too much back and forth on reliability of power supply.
What I'm saying is we supply what Greco give it to us. As long as Greco give us the power, everybody will have the supply.
There's also the other issue of the private residence of the regional minister, and you are claiming that he is not paying his electricity bills.
The statement yesterday didn't say, nobody said. When the media man asked our guy that, are we going to disconnect the minister? Say anybody who owns us, even if the minister owns us, we will go there to disconnect. Nobody say he's owing us. We said if he owes us, we'll go there.
So it is not the case that he owes and is not paying.
As now, I've not checked his bill, so I can't talk about it, but nobody said that he's owing us as at yesterday. But he said that if you own us, you will go and disconnect. If you don't pay, you will disconnect.
And he claims that you've presented to him a fictitious bill which does not represent the actual consumption, and that the house has no even meter.
And when we presented to him, what did he do? Did he keep it or he brought it into our office? Supposing what he says is true, when we gave it to him, did he bring it to us or he was keeping it?
Right. So the manager who is under arrest, how is he taking all of this? Is he reporting to the police, or the matter has died a natural death?
He's not reporting to the police, but the case is still pending at the police station.
And the minister says he will not take any steps to withdraw. You've made a. First, let me ask: are you members of the Regional Security Council?
That one too is something he said, and I don't know where he got it from. Our statement, which I have a copy here. He gave us a letter inviting our 4 general managers. The date was 9th April. To have a meeting with them yesterday, to join the Regional Security Council yesterday at 2 p.m. And we sent a letter to him that, per what is going on, our 4 general managers were not attending the meeting. And we went ahead to say that any subsequent meeting he will call them, we will not allow them to attend until the matter is settled. Nowhere did we say that our members are part of the RECSEC.
There's clearly a feud between your office and the regional minister, who is the president representative in the region. How best do you think this matter can be resolved?
As long as what we are doing to the best of our knowledge, we've not offended anybody, we'll go ahead and do what we are supposed to do.
And you say that...
And we will not allow anybody to intimidate any of our staff in Ashanti region. We will not allow anybody, as long as what we are doing is right, we will not allow anybody to intimidate any of our members in Ashanti region.
And you say that this has sort of challenged your move in revenue collection. How is that so?
It's true, because the man is the head of the region. And if he can accost arrest of our general manager, how much more the young ones, how much more when they enter somebody's house and say, the regional minister has even caused arrest of somebody disconnecting the house. So they are also causing arrest of our staff. So we are not happy about it.
The man says you will apologize. You threaten to wear red armbands. So what happens from tomorrow?
The National Executive Committee of the Union will meet and take another line of action.
But this will not affect power supply in the region?
I don't think so.
All right. So I want to thank you very much for your time spent with us this afternoon on the pause. And that's the vice chair of the ECG Workers Union, giving us indication exactly what they intend doing. Now that the regional minister has made it clear, the Ashanti Regional Minister has made the apology that they've been looking for, they will not get it. Secondly, the matter before the police will be dealt with as far as the matter is concerned, because he did his job as regional minister and chair of the Regional Security Council. The ECG workers say that they still insist on apology and a withdrawal of the case in court. They are denying most of the claims made by the Ashanti Regional Minister during that news conference this morning. They are insisting that they will no longer be able to carry through their revenue collection drive because they fear for the safety of their staff if the Regional Minister will take this hard line against them. This is the pulse here on Joy News. I'm sure I will bring you more in subsequent bulletins on this power situation in the country. But let's stay on matter that is of national interest now. And investigators on the Ghana Revenue Authority SML deal are demanding the publication of the full audit report from KPMG. President Akufo-Addo has given the Ghana Revenue Authority the go-ahead to continue the audit contract of the downstream petroleum sector with Strategic Mobilization Limited after receiving the report from KPMG. According to him, the deal is crucial in saving the country's resources. But the fourth estate, which exposed the anomalies in the contract, wants the full report published. Here's lead investigator Manas Azuri Awene.
It is commendable that the president decided to look into it and certain actions have been taken. It is important to stress that the component of the contract that has been cancelled is the biggest component in terms of the revenue we are saving. The upstream, petroleum, and also the mining sector components of the contract, per our production figures as a country, we were going to pay about $90 million to KPMG every single year. So that angle has been, or component has been cancelled. So it is significant savings, in addition to some price verification aspect that has also been cancelled. Now, the part that has been kept is the downstream petroleum contract. And that one, the president based his decision to keep the contract on the basis that SML is checking under reporting and under declaration. If you watch our documentary, we put this question to SML and asked whether they were doing under reporting or they were checking under the reporting or under declaration. The company said they were doing none of those services.
It was on their website.
It was on their website, and after we confronted them, they deleted that information from their website. The GRA, which awarded the contract to SML, also told us that SML did not and does not check under reporting or under declaration. The most disturbing part of that contract is the measurement that SML's meters claim to be taken. Those measurements are not used for tax purposes by even the GRA, which contracted them. We asked the SML engineers, which of the recordings, the MPA has a system called the ERDMS that is connected to the customs system, the ICOMS. And it is the figures that go through the MPA system that are used for tax purposes. And SML's engineers explained that their meters, the SML meters, are non-intrusive. They are placed on the pipelines, but the meters at the depots that go through the MPA system that is used by customs, they take more accurate recording because they are intrusive. They take the exact measurement of petroleum product that goes through them. So the very basis for keeping that contract that SML is checking under declaration, under reporting, the company has said on record, and it is in our documentary, on camera, that we don't do those services.
So on what basis then will the presidency be acting by saying that that contract should rather go on when KPMG, and as we've watched in your documentary, have clearly alluded to the fact that they are not doing that work, and in fact have put SML, I should say, and have in fact gone ahead to take down that aspect from their website. But here we see in the president's directives that that contract must stay. So what might be contributing to that, especially when KPMG is simply telling you don't have that? Do you see that maybe KPMG has been shown contracts, probably that have been signed, for which reason the president now says that should go on?
Well, I would be very measured in perhaps attacking KPMG until I see the KPMG report. Because I did a JIDA investigation, the president issued some directives on the JIDA report. But when the report itself was published, it was worse than what the presidency issued. This was in 2013. So with this experience, I'm a bit measured. But what we can say is that, look, it is good news to the Republic of Ghana that the upstream petroleum contract and the gold mining contracts are off the table.
So this is a story that is developing, and World Strategic Mobilization Limited has in the last few hours issued a response to the controversy. Essence of the response is what me and my colleague Ashanti will be discussing. So what exactly is SML saying in response to the KPMG report and a recommendation from the presidency?
Well, Elton, the most important response that we've had from SML now is that this work that has been done by KPMG clearly affirms the quality of the work they do there, and that KPMG has ultimately affirmed that they are doing some incredible work that deserves to continue. And let me quote from some of the statements they do. They say that the need for SML service has been affirmed, and that KPMG confirmed the importance of the upstream and mineral agreements. SML further observes that a comprehensive need assessment in those sectors was previously conducted, which supports KPMG's findings that revenue assurance audit services are needed in this sector. But they proceed, however, to also take on certain aspects of KPMG's report that they think do not reflect accurately as to the facts. For instance, the allegation of impropriety. The KPMG report, for instance, talked about the quality of work that KPMG the SML may have done. At SMLC, they reject KPMG's assertion that it partially delivered on several requirements regarding the transaction audit service agreement, and that regarding the transaction audit services, SML delivered fully on its obligation as outlined in the contract. SML's productive performance was the basis for subsequent recommendation and awarding of the downstream petroleum audit contract. Again, the SML notes that KPMG spoke about the implementation of the downstream petroleum audit, where they talk about need assessment not having been done. Again, they reject that point from KPMG's report as well. But ultimately, they say that KPMG report has exonerated SML and confirmed the need for the company's proving services. They continue to say that despite the misleading information propagated by Manasseh Azuri-Awoni and the Further State, it is important to know that the independent report from KPMG, while containing some disputed and inaccurate statement, unequivocally confirms the following: that one, there's no 10-year contract, there's no $100 million paid to SML, there's no duplication of work with respect to the work of the National Petroleum Authority, and the GRA has also awarded the 2023 consolidated contract to SML following due process.
There was an issue about $1 billion that's already been paid, and they are claiming that it's inaccurate.
Yes, in fact, if you look at the point one, that starts right from the SML statement. They say that the KPMG report debunks the false claim of $100 million having been paid to SML. And if you do the math of $100 million, it's just a little over 1 billion Ghana cedis paid to SML, and refutes the 10-year contract claim made by Manasseh Azuri-Awoni and the Fourth Estate. And then they have like to point out that the KPMG's finding, which suggests that these fees estimated to be paid under the 5-year consolidated contract average about 1 billion cedi per year, is also false.
All right, Kwaku, you stay with me because in this statement is signed by Ya Sewa Sapon, Director of Support Services, Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. And of course, we'll have more on this in the days to follow, because this matter is just developing. Now, let's move to another story which you have interest in. Yeah. Now, activists are describing the latest ruling of the Supreme Court, which now allow dual citizens to hold certain public offices as bold decision and a victory for democracy. The APS Court, in a 6-1 majority decision, struck out provisions of the Citizenship Act as unconstitutional, paving the way for dual citizens to enter certain hitherto restricted public offices. Ashanti is here with me in the studio as we look at the decision taken by the Supreme Court and which or what office is affected with this latest decision. Could you tell us more about this decision of the court?
Well, so a lawyer, Bright Ochre Ejekum, filed this action in the Supreme Court, challenging sections of the Citizenship Act passed in 2000, which prohibited certain persons from having access to certain offices. According to Bright Ochre Ejekum, those specific acts in this section that I'm talking about clearly contravened the Constitution of the Republic, for which reason they wanted the Supreme Court to strike it down as unconstitutional. It took some time, some battle back and forth in the Supreme Court. Bright Ochre Ejekum, being a lawyer, and his team of lawyers made their point for why they believe that this section of the Citizenship Act was unconstitutional and have to be struck out. The Supreme Court, after a thorough looking at the decision, now have rendered their decision, and as of yesterday, by a 6-1 majority decision, the court has ruled that section 16.2a and 16.2a to L of the Citizenship Act 2000 is unconstitutional, and same is struck out as unconstitutional.
Now, let's get into the specifics of it and the public office that are affected by this, decision by the Supreme Court.
So, Elton, as of yesterday morning, if you were a dual citizen, you could not be the Chief Justice of the Republic. You could not become the Commissioner of the GRA or the Value Added Tax Service. You could not become the Director General of the Prison Service or the Chief Fire Officer or even a Chief Director of a ministry or be in the military at the rank of a colonel as of yesterday morning. But since then, the Supreme Court has struck out these sections of the Citizenship Act that allows these persons now to take these offices. So again, the Chief Justice can now be a dual citizen, the Commissioner of the Value Added Tax Service, the Director General of the Prison Service, the Chief Fire Officer, Chief Director of a ministry, or someone in the military at the rank of a colonel or any other security service. These persons, per this new Supreme Court judgment, 6-1, can now hold public office, these public offices, even if they are dual citizens. That is, if they are Ghanaians and then hold the passport of another country.
So if I'm a Ghanaian, if I'm also a citizen of the United States of America, now I can hold the position of Chief Justice.
Yes.
I can hold the position of head of the prison service.
Yes.
I can be in the military to the level of a colonel, but not beyond colonel.
Beyond colonel. Because in fact, if you look at the Citizenship Act, it talks about persons who cannot become the Chief of Defense Staff, and those are dual citizens. That one, the court did not touch that. The Inspector General of Police, for instance, the court did not touch.
I'm surprised because head of the prison service is almost equal
at the rank of the IGP.
At the rank of the IGP.
Exactly.
So the head of Ghana's prison service can claim allegiance to another country. And the Supreme Court finds nothing wrong with
nothing
it.
Wrong
and so is the Chief Justice of the Republic.
And in fact, that is why some people have raised certain concerns about it, that these are very high offices. The Chief Justice and Justices of the Supreme Court, that is the apex of the judiciary. And if these persons can go on to become dual citizens and still hold their offices, but if you are, for instance, the IGP, you cannot do so. So there is a seeming contradiction that people have raised it, and you make the point about the Chief Fire Officer, that is the head of the fire service, the Prison Service Director General. These are analogous to the IGP, for instance, or the Chief of Defense Staff. The court says in this analysis that those persons cannot become dual citizens, or if they are dual citizens, they cannot go ahead to become to serve as Chief Justice. However, these persons that I've listed.
And this is a 6-1 decision, overwhelming, if you like.
Overwhelming decision by the Supreme Court.
The other angle to this story is why MPs or people who are aspiring to become President of the Republic will not have to renounce their citizenship with another country. MPs, there's somebody who is filed a private member's motion demanding a review of this provision. The Supreme Court decision doesn't touch members of Parliament.
Yes. In fact, the distinction is that when it comes to what bars members of Parliament from not being able to become dual citizens and serve in Parliament, that is the Constitution itself. So to be able to take that out, you have to look at the Constitution. The Supreme Court cannot declare acts of the Constitution as unconstitutional. So, because that is the Constitution that has been written. They can interpret the Constitution, all right? And if they interpret that to say that, well, MPs can do that, then that is fine. But as of now, they haven't done so yet. And so the members of Parliament, if they have any hope of being dual citizens and staying in Parliament, then they have to bank that hope on Kennedy Osei Nyako's private members bill that is going through the mill in Parliament. It's faced some delays. He says, with the judgment that has come in now, he expects that will now move in speedily when Parliament resumes from its Easter break. But that controversy will continue to go on, that members of Parliament who make laws cannot be dual citizens. But the Chief Justice, who also make laws, by the way, if the Chief Justice was on this panel, what they have done yesterday was making law, interpreting, striking out certain sections of the Citizenship Act, and invariably making law. But these persons can go ahead and be dual citizens, but MPs cannot be, at least for now.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's see if we can analyze this matter much further. And CDD fellow Professor Kweku Asare joins us via Zoom. Prof, it's always a pleasure to have you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm sure you are excited by this decision, but I'm wondering what went into the minds of our justices to come to such, unprecedented decision.
Well, that will be very interesting to find out. As of now, we don't know, because to the best of my knowledge and information, the opinion is not out yet.
Yes.
And so we cannot speculate as to what went through their minds, but we can accept the outcome and rejoice about the outcome, because for some of us, this is a battle that we have been waging since 2006, when they initially attempted to disqualify Mr. Akwasi Agyeman as Kufuor's nominee for the Ashanti Regional Minister. And then we had the Adamu Sankedi case, and then we have Mona Kwate, we had Charles Adubuahin, and then Jechi Kwesin. So I've always had problems with the way the court and the country interpreted Article 94(2)A and also Article 8(2). Now, let me be clear about what has happened.
Right.
Article 94(2)A has not been touched at all by the court by this decision. Article 94(2)A has not been touched at all. That is the article that disqualifies persons who owe allegiance to countries other than Ghana from becoming MP. And of course, if you cannot become MP, there are other positions that you cannot hold. For instance, you cannot be a minister, you cannot be
the president.
On the Lands Commission, you cannot be on the Public Service Commission, you cannot be on the Electoral Commission. That has not been touched.
Right.
That is in Parliament right now. We are working very hard to try to amend that with Kennedy Osenyakon, as you mentioned. Second, they have not touched at all Article 8(2). Article 8(2) deals with dual citizenship, and the positions excluded under that include ambassador or high commission, secretary to the cabinet, chief of defense staff, IGP, director of immigration service, and so on and so forth. What the Supreme Court has searched is Section 16(2) of the Citizenship Act. And this was basically a problem that I actually have gone to court with this same problem at 591. And I argued that it was unconstitutional for Parliament to add offices without specifically amending the Constitution. But the court then did not agree with me. It was a 7-2 decision. Justice Sophia Kufu and Justice Rose Owusu agreed with me, but 7 of the men disagreed with me. So I'm very happy that the court appears to have departed from Asari or overturned Asari and have now said that, look, you cannot just disqualify people without amending the Constitution. If you want to disqualify people, then you have to amend the Constitution. You cannot just get a majority of 1 and then say, well, everyone who works for Joy FM has been disqualified from holding office. No, you can't do that.
Right.
It has to be a constitutional amendment.
But Prof, let's look at the moral aspects of the decision taken by the Supreme Court and the concern for a lot of people, the worry that they've started anticipating, that we're going to have our Chief Justice who may be holding allegiance to another country, a colonel in the Ghana Army, the head of the prison service, now have liberty to own allegiance to another country. In terms of the argument on the street and the morality of it, is there any cause for worry? Or this is the new trend that we must all follow?
No, there's no cause for worry. These are all ancient arguments. You know, Ghanaians celebrate justices who go to serve in the Supreme Court of other countries. So, for instance, Justice Doche used to serve in the Supreme Court of Gambia. Justice Brobe, Justice Apalu, a whole host of Ghanaian Supreme Court justices go to serve in the Supreme Court of other countries, we celebrate them. When people sit on the Supreme Court to decide cases, I will be shocked if they are sitting there and say, well, I am a Ghanaian and I'm also a Nigerian, therefore I'm going to rule on the case differently. If there's a judge who thinks this way, then he has bigger problems than what people on the streets are worried about. Similarly, when you go to the United Kingdom, you don't even have to be a UK citizen to belong to Parliament. If you are a Ghanaian and you have residence in UK, then by virtue of being a Commonwealth citizen only, you are entitled to contest for a seat in the Parliament of UK. It hasn't bothered them. It hasn't ended the democracy in United Kingdom. Let's go to Nigeria. As far back as 2000, maybe earlier, the Nigerian Supreme Court said that anybody who is a Nigerian cannot be disqualified from seeking public office or elective political office. In other words, the right to vote is intimately related to the right to be voted for. And therefore, anyone who has the right to vote also has the right to put himself up for other people to vote for him. Nothing has happened to Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Botswana, South Africa. All these countries have dual citizens actively participating, and nothing has happened. In Ghana, there are people who are dual citizens who are intimately related to the decision-making process, much more than single citizens. This has not ended the world. So we need to move into a different era where these archaic, obsolete, and vestigial concerns about other citizenships need to be consigned to the dustbin of history.
On the matter of the military, the court ended at the rank of a colonel. I mean, we are all waiting to read the decision of the court regarding this matter. But do you think that maybe they could have gone further? Because at the level of colonel, you are almost at a decision-making, position in the Ghana Armed Forces.
Yeah, I mean, previously, the law was that if you are a dual citizen, you could not hold the rank of a colonel. And the court has stricken that down, that you can hold the rank of a colonel. But let's be very serious for a change. I mean, why should we be concerned about a colonel who is a dual citizen, but not concerned about a lieutenant colonel who is, not a lieutenant colonel can be a dual citizen.
Exactly.
But somehow we become concerned if a colonel is a dual citizen.
Yes.
What is the big difference between colonel and lieutenant colonel, such that we think it is okay for a lieutenant colonel to be a dual citizen, but he cannot be promoted to a colonel? I just don't even get the logic. I mean, is it that if you are a colonel, you suddenly have certain decision-making roles that can make you more susceptible to foreign manipulation? Then none of this happened. Let me tell you one other thing.
Right.
Throughout the history of the world, all the people who have subverted their countries, either in the role of a spy or in some other roles, were single citizens. There is no single instance anywhere in the world where a dual citizen betrayed his or her country. So again, I repeat, these are all ancient thoughts, and but there is no evidence to back this fear, and we must outgrow the fear.
Right. Before I let you go, Prof, let's talk about the member of parliament angle to this. There's a private member's motion in parliament seeking to, get this matter resolved. Judge Kwesem is in and out of court virtually every day because he held a Canadian citizenship, and then, within a time frame allowed by the Electoral Commission, he was unable to do so. He's gone through a lot in view of this. Does this decision of the court solidify those who are pushing for reforms, especially when it comes to members of parliament, and how should the approach be?
No, absolutely. And let us be clear that there is a bipartisan support for the bill.
Yes.
That bill went to the Council of State, and the Council of State unanimously endorsed that. I know, as a matter of fact, that ex-President Mahama has said he supports that bill. I know, as a matter of fact, that President Akufo-Addo has said he will support that bill. I know, as a matter of fact, that my good friend, Vice President Bawumia, supports that bill. I know, as a matter of fact, that my good friend, Afrafranto Alan, supports this bill. I mean, everybody supports this bill because they have come, or we have all come to the realization that nothing will be lost if a member of parliament is a dual citizen, as I said, because nothing has happened in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, in UK, in all these other places. If there is a dual citizen, he may be 1 or 2 or 3 people out of 275 in parliament. What is the fear that 1, 2 or 3 people who are dual citizens are going to go to parliament and suddenly cause havoc? Our bigger problem is not with dual citizens. Our bigger problem is with people, single citizen or dual citizen, who are greedy, who are corrupt, who are stealing money, and so on. To the extent that we allow ourselves to be diverted by these, ancillary matters, like what is your citizenship? What is your other citizenship? It just drives a wedge between single citizens and dual citizens so that they can't concentrate on what is keeping them hungry, what is keeping them jobless, and so on and so forth. We must now say, look, if you are Ghanaian, anywhere in the world, and you are good at what it is that you do,
right,
we welcome you to come and help us solve our problems. That is the mindset we use when we constitute the Black Stars. And that's why when Black Stars went to South Africa, they performed so well. Because we were not worried about whether Kevin Watin, who is also a German, was going to take a penalty kick against the German national club.
Right.
Once you put on that Ghanaian jersey, then you are a professional. You set aside all these things about, well, I'm also no, you are a professional. And you're going to go and kick that ball. That is why the Serbian coach coached Ghana against Serbia. The fact that he was a Serbian did not take away from his ability to coach Ghana soccer team.
Right.
So I repeat, we are in modern times, and we must embrace the idea that because of mobility, people are going to have multiple citizenships. I want to end on one note.
Right.
President Nkrumah was a citizen of Ghana, was a citizen of Guinea, was a citizen of the United Kingdom. President Rawlings was a citizen of Ghana, and he was a citizen of the United Kingdom. In fact, until May 1957, all Ghanaians were UK citizens or subjects. The concept of Ghanaian citizenship is new. It only came into being on May 1, 1957. And when it came into being, we all became dual citizens because we were United Kingdom subjects before we became Ghanaian citizens.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Professor, thank you very much. And bottom line, we've been too protectionist. About time we loosen up and embrace change. Professor Koku Asare, a CDD fellow, and we've been looking at the Supreme Court decision that now allows the Chief Justice to hold dual citizenship and other, specified ranks in the public service. This is the pause here on Joy. We'll take a short break. When we return, I'll take you to the election headquarters. Of course, this is your election headquarters, and we are live in Ghana, we are live in the United States of America. The election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, Clean Fuel and Fuel in Quantity, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, and the German Ozo Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness, and Beauty. This sponsors for the election headquarters. Now, the Electoral Commission has set May 7 to May June for updating the voters' register ahead of the December general elections. This, according to the EC, to allow those who just turned 18 to have their names captured in the voters' register. People who are above 18 but have yet to register for the voters' ID card also have the opportunity to do so during this window period. Deputy Chair in charge of operations at the Commission, Samuel Tete, who made this known during a May Day forum by organized labor, indicated that the various political parties have been made aware of this development.
The activities of EC is regulated by laws, and we cannot actually go besides what the law provides. Again, the EC is mandated as part of ensuring a peaceful election, provide for an update of registration of all people who are eligible to register to vote. And for that matter, we have to make sure that all those who are qualified to vote must have their names on the voters' register. So voter registration is often the most complex and expensive component of the electoral process, and it involves identifying which citizens are eligible to vote and producing a list of register of voters for use on polling day. It is often a contested process, and if flawed, may compromise the entire election. So the voters register plays an important role in securing a very successful election. And for this year's update of the voters register, the Commission has set from the 7th of May to 27th of May to update the voters register to include those who have attained the age of 18 since the last registration, and those who, for one or two reasons, were not able to register during the last registration exercise.
Well, political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asante, says the NDC running mate, Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman, hailing from the Central Region, alone will not lead to increased votes for the NDC. Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman, at her outdooring yesterday, vowed the next NDC administration will prosecute corrupt government officials. She made a promise at her outdooring last night at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. She also took a swipe at government over what she believes is mismanagement of the economy. My colleague James Abeji has more in this report.
Draped in the symbolic red, white, green and black colors of the umbrella, hundreds of NDC sympathizers and party bigwigs gather here at the UPSA auditorium in Accra to witness the outdooring of Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman as running mate to John Dramani Mahama.
Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman.
Chairman of the party, Johnson Asedu Nketia, set the tone for the night by bursting the bubbles of those anxiously waiting for appointment in the next NDC government.
Some people are not only fighting about the positions they will occupy, they are telling all others that they will be the kingmakers and they will be making their appointment. If we are not careful, this will dampen the enthusiasm and the spirit of our followers.
Rolling out her vision to party faithfuls and Ghanaians, Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman did not shy away from taking a swipe at government.
I don't know about you, but the image I get looking at that hole is a trench in utter shock that anyone could believe it was intended as a Thanksgiving gift to the Almighty, invisible, God only wise. Such a report will not find COVID money shared for partisan political campaign purposes. I will not, in the advancement of self-serving ambition, declare to the whole world that I was only the driver's mate.
So what will her government offer Ghanaians?
The report will highlight new roads, harbors, railway lines, not what we've seen of late, Ayalolo buses. You will find the lack of intimidation of opposing voices. You will find serious investment and practice to enable a digitized economy and society. The report will go on to point at housing projects, including the famous Saglemi housing complex, and even those that somebody has happily raised to make room for a presumed.
Knowing the role Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is playing as head of the economic management team and lead on government digitization agenda and what may be expected of the next Vice President, former President John Dramani Mahama explains what the exact job description of his Vice President will be.
She has great insights into human resource management, empowerment and social development. And under my administration, she will have oversight, among others, of the education sector, the health sector, gender and social protection.
Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman says the next NDC administration will deal with all corrupt government officials.
John and I have agreed that whoever has participated in the plunder of the state must be held accountable. And my friends, this is not a threat, it is a promise.
As to whether this second John and Jane ticket will deliver victory for the NDC come December 7, 2024, the race has just begun. James Abeji, Joy News.
And of course, the NDC and other analysts have struck a correlation between the choosing of the professor as running mates and increased votes for the party in the Central Region. But senior political science lecturer at the Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Dr. Asante, says there are a lot more factors that lead to a party winning votes and not merely because they hail from a particular region.
There are various factors that influence voter choices. One is the economy, infrastructure development, the fight against corruption, rule of law, unemployment, and a host of them, in addition to what? Energy and energy crisis, how you are going to fix this. So, of course, I am not oblivious of the fact that the personality of what the president or the running mate or the flag bearer is also critical. Some people look at these things. But beyond that, people look at even constituency-specific issues. If there's a place where they are looking for market for women to what? Apply their vocation, and they don't find that. They don't care who's about, who is the running mate or the leader of the party. So that argument that what did she bring the last time, for me, is a WAP argument. The whole, analysis is wrong. There are so many factors. But of course, if you have anybody who is going to be in the seat as what? A running mate, you should have certain qualities that will really allow people to what? Follow her. People will support her. That will also make it attractive to people to follow. But that person alone cannot be the factor that influence voter choice. So all the analysis you see in the media are basically wrong. Look at this woman. It comes from so many constituencies, apart from her natural constituency of the Central Region, specifically where she comes from in a particular constituency. She also appeals to the gender groups, academics, women, by and large, and the general society. Of course, the NDC as a party. So all these things are things that are going to support her to be able to add to the ticket and make the ticket meaningful.
And of course, your election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, the CIMA, that's the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and of course, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness, and Beauty. And we have more from the election headquarters in some few minutes where Dr. H.S. Kanko joins me, and he will take you to the United States of America, where we are looking at AI and the impact it will have on the United States elections in November. But let's talk about filth, because some residents of a coastal community near Kwaligono here in Accra are calling on authorities to deal with the indiscriminate dumping of filth into the drainage system in parts of the capital. They say they are bearing the direct brunt of the act, which has resulted in the heavy pollution of the ocean and the beach there. Some fishermen in the community also say they now catch plastic instead of fish. Marcel Agbaba was there and our reports for our filth exhibition series.
Welcome to the Odo drainage system, which runs through the capital, Accra. Here, trash reigns supreme. This drainage system is responsible for carrying wastewater from different parts of the country directly into the ocean. But now, it has additional roles, carrying plastics and trash.
The Kwale Lagoon itself will take a longer time because that's where we have more composition of materials, which needs to take a longer time, maybe about a year or two to finish. We're going to have recreational facilities. That is the sea outfall. So along we have recreational facilities. Other infrastructure we can have.
Flashback to 2019, where officials proudly showcased plans to transform the Odo Drain into a recreational paradise, complete with yachts and cruise boats gliding through its waters. Fast forward 5 years, and the only thing cruising are more plastic bags. Those who suffer the effects are residents living around the coastal areas close to the Odo Drain, where it enters the ocean. I'm in one of the communities near Jamestown, and here I've met one of the residents who is a fisherman. John Yaku no longer goes for fishing expedition but plastic expeditions, as his nets catches more plastics than fish. He may soon change his fishing rod into a plastic scoop because all the water bodies around him are also heavily polluted with plastics. He says the plastics are destroying our outboard motors. Sometimes they get entangled with it. Previously, we used to do communal labor before the onset of the rains. The drains are clean, but we don't do that again. It comes from upstream. The people up there pollute the drainage system, he said. Sabonikwe Jani believes more dustbins will prevent heavy pollution of the drainage system.
Not every community needs a dustbin. What I'm going to say that in about 90s, any community have a dustbin. But at us now, there's no community, any community have a dustbin. Everybody will make a dust rubbish. They always put in gutter near him, or maybe lagoon near him. So when the rain fall, you always pull through to the Kwale Lagoon, and the Kwale Lagoon to throw it into the beach. And the sea too, you don't want dirty. You always bring it out. So when you come here, you can see all the beach as make dirty, but not that. It's not the people here, but the people, all our brothers.
Another resident, Patrick Lamte, is incensed about the situation. He said there are no bins, so those who live close to the Odo drain and the Kole dump their garbage in them. We are suffering because some people have to pay 1 cedi before they dump their garbage or defecate, so they do it illegally. Nanaba, a resident, is calling on city authorities to take action now. He said the government has to do more to deal with this problem. It is a real problem that has to be dealt with.
And of course, very disturbing pictures there, but I'm sure that authorities are watching and they will find solution to this issue. This is Greater Accra region, not any part of the country, but the national capital. Now, he is confined to crutches, but that does not in any way, affect him, his mobility or his ability to keep traffic flowing and the streets safe. This is the story of 47-year-old physically challenged Bernard Quay. For the past 11 years, he has found joy in directing traffic in parts of Accra when the light failed to shine. Bernard believes this is his contribution to nation building. My colleague Emmanuel Jivenu has more in our prime latest feature, Crutches and Courage.
It is evening rush hour and vehicular congestion is building here at the Mataheko intersection. In this thick congestion is Bernard, a 47-year-old physically challenged, an area of hope when the traffic lights fail to shine. For the past 11 years, Bernard has found joy in bringing order to the roads during the rush hours. His story began in 2013, the peak of erratic electricity supply, leaving many traffic lights powerless. It was then that Bernard, undeterred by his own challenges, stepped up to fill the void.
Whenever I reach any traffic that I see that there is jam, within some few minutes, I'll be able to see what I could do with it, how to manage them accurately, and there will be no crash.
His presence commands respect on the road. No motorist dares to challenge his authority. Yet, despite facing ingratitude from some drivers, Bernard sees his work as a contribution to nation building, echoing the president's call to be citizens and not spectators.
Within me, I know it is from God that I'm doing this. I'm not doing it to praise anybody or to blame anybody. I do it just to praise God and to help my mind, my country, that's all. Like the president says, we should be citizens and not spectators.
As Bernard continues to navigate the busy intersections, he's concerned about the dysfunctional traffic lights in many parts of Accra.
We have to change the lighting system, the traffic situation, the traffic regulations here. We have to change it before things will function very well. No matter whoever, whether the police or whatever, because if the police come and stand here, the police is not a command. He is not a captain planet. He can only say stop. At the end of the day, what happens to the traffic? We only do his part when it is time that we do.
Bernard, whose dreams were altered by an unfortunate incident at the age of 8, remains undeterred. Confined to crutches, he now appeals for personal protective equipment to remain safe on the road.
I go to store and then buy this reflector and the things that I'm using. With the little money I have, just to take care of the traffic situation. So, anything somebody thinks is recommendable for a support is almost welcome.
Bernard, the guardian of order, proving that strength is not always measured by physical ability, but by the resilience of the human spirit. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy Prime.
So disability cannot be, should not deny you from, contributing to national development. That's exactly what our friend here is doing. Well, That's our show for today. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. Tomorrow, same time, Friday, we'll bring another exciting edition of The Pulse with me, Elton Grobe. Coming up is HSC Kanku. He has a wrap of political events in the United States of America ahead of the November elections. You have a good evening and take care.